And welcome into Dunkey Field and KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the 6A semifinal as our first matchup coming up for you today. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels preparing to take on the top-seeded Farmington Phoenix. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Please be joined by Kenzie Christiansen here shortly. The defending state champ, Mountain Ridge Sentinels, got off to a bit of a tough start this year. They were short. Emery Clark had an injury to start the year, but she is back. They've been playing fantastic with her back. Winners of 8 straight. They come in 12-6 overall, the number 5 seed in the state playoff, having gotten past Clearfield in the second round. And it is a tall task today, taking on the Farmington Phoenix, a team that has been top-ranked for the majority of the year here in 6A. The lone loss on the year for the Phoenix, coming midway through in a 14-7 loss to Park City. Other than that, the Phoenix have been perfect. 17-1 for Farmington coming in. A lot of top scorers for the Phoenix. Haley Larson, the sophomore, 49 goals for her. Riley Sant with 36, but it was Michaela Jackson that really helped spurn Farmington in the second half of their quarterfinal to get here to the semifinal. As we'll talk about other matchups and things as the game proceeds, as we are ready for our opening draw. The top-seeded Farmington Phoenix in the white uniforms, Mountain Ridge in the all-red, trying to defend their 2022 state title. And we are underway. It's a draw that is gathered here by Mountain Ridge, and that's one of the items to keep an eye on today is Annalise Anderson. 5:30 draw for her this season for Mountain Ridge. She's been spectacular. She was in the playoffs last year for Mountain Ridge as well. As the Sentinels send it up, here's Kiara Claren working back to X. This is Taya Chalk, the sophomore. 25 goals for Taya this season as she'll work this out. Here is Weller trying to break down this D. This is Emery Clark. We talked about her earlier. Nice pass there with Mortensen, but that Farmington D able to stagnate it. Mountain Ridge, nice run there. That saved away. How about Ellie Erickson, the sophomore? A .612 save percentage for Erickson on the season. She had some really good saves in that tough quarterfinal matchup against Copper Hills. Farmington won that battle 8-3 over the Grizzlies, and that was a game where Copper Hills was in that game for a long time before Farmington was able to pull in the second half as they turned this over before they could get the clear. And now Mountain Ridge looking to set up again here with Weller. That pass a little tall. Claren trying to track that down, playing gold lines here today, so that was just in. Back up here with Tessa Mortensen. I talked about Ellie Erickson, the starting goal for Farmington. My apologies, Elle Erickson. Meanwhile, for Mountain Ridge, starting goalie today is going to be Faith Marriott, the senior. As we've got a call here. And a start here for Emery Clark from the 8-meter mark. Early opportunity here for the Sentinels. They've had possession for the majority of these first 2 minutes, and they get the opening goal. It is Emery Clark with her first of the game, and it's 1-0 Mountain Ridge. Number 32, Emery Clark. Boy, before the season started, had that injury in the offseason, thought that'd be a big blow, and they were hopeful to get her back in time for a playoff. She's back, and you can see the impact she makes, her 31st goal of the season. A .612 shooting percentage for Emery Clark coming into this semifinal. And a nice finish there from 8 meters. We'll head back here to the spot for the draw. And another draw here. That is controlled by Larson. So first offensive possession for the Phoenix today. I want to let you know the clock you see on your screen, unofficial, so at times you'll see us start it late, stop it early, that sort of thing, to try to keep it trued up with the official game clock here in the stadium. As that ball trickled out, and now Mountain Ridge with the possession as Lily Messina trying to work this up for the Sentinels. Good pressure there by Farmington. And Mountain Ridge still needing to get this across as Anderson does play it ahead. Here's Emery Clark. A lot of room, plays that wide. That pass a little tough to handle, but regathered there by Weller. Oh, over pursued it. And we'll get a cover there. It'll go to Farmington. Working up here with Michaela Jackson. We talked about the great quarterfinal she had. Michaela with space. Working around Anderson right in front, and that one, boy, didn't get much. It almost looked like that ball kind of jumped out of the pocket there, Kenzie.
Yeah, she dropped her stick to be able to get a shot off. It looks like she may have got a piece of that defender's stick for a check.
And so here comes Mountain Ridge on a quick counter. Clarion working up. Boy, and if you're Mountain Ridge defensively, you have to feel good about. They haven't really allowed Farmington many possessions, but the few they have, they've never been able to get set up.
Well, yeah, the defense for Mountain Ridge is actually something that a lot of schools and a lot of coaches will defend, that they say one of the best in the state. They play amazing backer defense, what gives them unstoppable control on that defending end.
Flag up there.
I didn't particularly see, 3 fingers. Yep, that means 3 seconds. That is a flaggable offense, just meaning waiting to see if that person with ball will drive or will not. She wasn't able to take that drive. 3 seconds was called, which pulls her back to that hash.
Another 8-meter start here for Mountain Ridge. They converted on this earlier.
Smart decision. That's kind of a bit of a hard angle to take in.
Working through traffic, and again, we'll get a flag up here.
That could be either stick-to-body contact and or horizontal on the body. Either way, it will give her that second inside.
So this will be Tessa Mortensen setting up 40 goals on the season for Tessa.
Something I'm kind of seeing that's interesting is she's setting up a little bit different than I've ever seen a player set up, but it does look like she's winding up to take a ripper shot.
That's a big wind-up, and false start there. This is almost like a baseball stance, right?
Yeah, no, she's like, I can't technically tell, but it looks like her backside is the goal.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of steam coming from Tessa Mortensen. She converts, and it's 2-0 Sentinels.
Beautiful shot with a different kind of setup than we've seen before. She was able to, like you just said, convert that to a goal with that strong wind-up and that release to a bouncing shot.
Does that make tracking that ball for that goalie that much more difficult? Because it's not, you don't really know where it's coming out, if that's going to be a low to high, if that's going to be over the shoulder.
Yeah, no, she had a great control with that overall, but the way she set up, I think, had everyone a little confused. So watching that as a goalie, you try and focus in just on that ball and focus where that ball's going to go. But with how fast she was, it was going to be hard to track exactly what height she's going to have on that.
2-0 Mountain Ridge. What a start for the 5th-seeded Sentinels. This is, I don't want to say underseeded because they lost games early on, but man, when they're healthy, they are not a 5 seed.
Exactly. They are an amazing team. It's fun to watch them grow throughout this season.
As a whistle here.
Aubrey Shaw did have that. Yep, she was able to get it just right over that restraining line. You can't reach over the restraining line with your stick, just not your body.
We've got to stop it. They want to make certain things get set up here. Boy, Mountain Ridge early on, but their possession's been impressive. Been very deliberate. Haven't taken many bad shots. Been patient with this Farmington D.
Certainly have. It looks like Farmington's playing Bacher D as well.
Oh, that's a big save by Erickson.
Beautiful save. Erickson, I think, in my own opinion, is one of the best goalies in the state. She's fast, she's witty, and just like that, can get amazing saves off.
And just a sophomore, so
yeah,
she's got years ahead of her. How critical is that? Tessa Mortensen, a big wind-up right in front of the cage. Erickson able to keep it out.
Yeah, 2 great players facing off one-on-one.
Here's Larson. They could really use Haley. Boy, gets defenders on the ground. Beautiful shot and a goal. Haley Larson with her first and her 50th of the season.
Yeah, she's out there breaking some ankles. Looks like defense got their feet caught up just a bit. She's able to take advantage of that space and time. She did hesitate for a minute, as sportsmanship would like you to do. Hesitate for a minute. They were fine. That's what whistle is called. She proceeded forward and got an amazing goal for their first goal of the game.
We talked about how good that Mountain Ridge defense has been. You're right. Stumbled, and now all of a sudden you got the top scorer for Farmington, one-on-one. She's going to convert that 9.5 times out of 10.
Yeah, and no doubt in my mind that they're not going to be face guarding some of the top shooters here with Mountain Ridge, like Riley Sant. She got a lot of the goals in the last game, and then Haley Larson wasn't able to get anything up, and now here she is, with that fire and tenacity.
Yeah, I haven't talked much about Sant yet. She is the top point getter. Not anymore. Actually, she's second. She's right behind Haley now.
Right behind.
But 36 goals, 22 assists for Riley this season. One of the few contributing seniors. This is a really young Farmington roster.
It is. It truly is. Yeah, with a young coach coming in for his first season, coming in for girls lacrosse, was at Weber previous year, and now here with Farmington, bringing on his daughter along with a few grads as well.
And I don't want to, fault others. Michaela Jackson's a senior. Alex Stevens a senior. They're both double-digit goal scorers, but it's just a lot of the main players you talk about are juniors, are sophomores.
Yes, and it's exciting to see how much that talent, those youthful players are able to play up to the abilities of those seniors. Seniors are always so strong. They have so much knowledge, and they're just giving all that knowledge to these young players.
Well, and to go 17-1 with that youth is something else, right?
Exactly.
Mortensen with the start there from 12. She'll peel it back. Ooh, nice little deception there. Here's Claren. Kiara trying to work through.
Yeah. So as you saw, that sign was across the body. We'll be getting pulled out too. I believe that is the first inside. But yeah, it does look like they're playing a backer defense on the Farmington end as well, with Mountain Ridge is good at breaking through.
Claren with the windup. Erickson able to stop it. The follow is taken away. Tessa Mortensen with a great look, but Erickson stymies her. That stayed here on that call. Farmington fans disagreeing. That one jarred loose.
Yep, across the body for that call. We're going to pull that player, I believe, back to that center hash, the favorite spot of almost all shooters.
So here will be Claren handing that off, and Erickson taking it away. Love the bounce shot opportunity there, but Erickson standing tall here early.
Yeah, I think that was her fourth save in a row. She has a lot of pep in her step to get all those saves.
Well, and how about Larson coming back for that one? And Farmington continuing on here. Franich.
Yeah, Ryan's got some players on her, but she's working it through. It's her senior year, and she's wanting to get that ball downfield.
Yeah, plays that back. Here is Sant. Back with Riley.
All right, we got a 3 seconds call. That just means you're inside of the 8 for longer than 3 seconds, just taking up space. It's an unfair call, but a major foul.
And you know what? Thanks to the official, we could hear that one. It makes it so much easier when you can hear it, right?
I appreciate that very well.
So start here from Sant. Work into the middle. That was just a little hot off the stick of Jackson and gathered by the Sentinels. Oh, that one nearly given away. Sant trying to get it back. Yeah, I thought she might have been in the circle anyway, but.
Yeah, it's all about that angle of perception, just because it's just hard to see. I want to talk about that one-handed snatch from the goal. That stick is heavy. For her to be able to reach up like that, she's got some muscles. Way to go for her.
Here comes Anderson across the middle. Larson was right with her. Annalise playing that ahead here with Guyman. 10 minutes into this opening half. 2-1, the advantage for the Sentinels. Again, the winner advancing to the state championship. That game will be Thursday at 3 o'clock at Zions Bank Stadium as Farmington able to win it back. Eddie Bales, the junior, coming away with it. Bales continuing to work here. Double team trying to throw it up the line and converts up with Stevens. Alex continuing on. Cross side, and boy, I couldn't tell. I think Marriott might have gotten a piece of that
I think Lily also had a little bit of piece. It was a little mix between the two of them, but they were both ball tracking very, very well.
They nearly had Cassie Moffitt all alone on the backside with an open goal. Here's Sant being defended by Messina.
Oh, nice.
How about that? Great traction there. Taken away by Kylie Taylor. Here comes Weller. Mountain Ridge in transition. Weller looking to get around the angle. The shot. And Erickson with the save. And Farmington able to win it. Good chase down there by McCauley.
All I got to say is I'm happy I'm not these refs. This ball is moving fast.
Yes, it is. I thought it was 27, but it might have been 23 Stevens who won that actually. Here comes Sant on the other end for Farmington. Well, she had that roll, but it was just jarred loose on the physicality there of Faber. It's getting loud here early on, Kenzie.
It is getting loud. These are two very spirited fans. I've listened to both sides of these fans, and they're both passionate and loving to the sport and their players, as they should be. It's amazing.
Sant starting from the 12. She'll work this back. Here's Roche.
Yeah, major fouls between the 8 and the 12 do pack out to the 12, and that's exactly what happened there.
Here's Moffitt. Mentioned the Farmington girls with the early start today. The Farmington boys, the early start tomorrow. They'll take on the Corner Canyon Chargers. Farmington fans, come on out.
That'll be a good game.
It'll be a great one, actually. Farmington, the boys, playing with a lot of confidence and momentum right now. And, yeah, that'll be a doozy, actually. This one's been a doozy as well. Boys and girls trying to make it to a state championship for Farmington. Sant. Send this out with Franich.
Nice, Ryan. Yeah, that was really nice control she's having with all that drive. She's got double and triple team throughout that all. Keeping that control, keeping her stick and almost that triple threat, not necessarily a triple threat, but that outside hand, keeping that as far away from that defense as possible.
Everything for Farmington seems to be outside right now. They haven't really been able to get it inside much.
Yeah, no, that just goes back to the point of, Sentinels having a phenomenal defense.
Franich with a shot there, and that one
run by Lily.
Yeah, does not go in. Mountain Ridge closest to.
So yeah, what you saw there was a call made on the goalie. You might be hearing some of the fans around, is that she is out of the crease, of course, but she is a ball player. But if she does any type of foul, it still counts as if she's any type of field player. So what there, I think, was in the sphere or wacross the body, either or, went back to that Sentinel goalie, what started with her.
Messina. Farmington has been very aggressive defensively here early on. I think they have to be in this game. I love that. Seeing that from them here early. Here comes Guyman. Works to the angle.
Nice volleyball.
Chalk. Setting up. Clark.
3 seconds. So that's something you got to watch really well with 3 seconds. Is they're standing inside that 8 for 3 seconds, taking out stage, which is a major foul. It could be a safety foul. It can be an inconvenience foul. It's all of the above. But for that instance, that girl was across field waiting for any type of cutters coming through or waiting just to stay on her position in zone.
12-meter start here. Clark giving that with Weller. Space here.
That was a good call. Yeah, that's hard. That's something hard with the zone is when you're one of those low players by creates like Molly Bell's back in my day. That used to be called point and cover point down there. Sliding in for that shooting space, you get caught in the shooting space so fast.
Wind up and beats Erickson. 3-1. The advantage is Claren scoring her first. And boy, those starts have been deadly today for Mountain Ridge.
Oh yeah, no, those, like I said, was just mentioning, those shooting spaces are going to be needed to be capitalized on, and that's exactly what they did there. They have speed and they have strength behind their shot for the Sentinels, and getting that low ankle all the way across goal, moving that goalie to that opposite side. great shot, great tactic, and overall just a well-played moment.
Maybe a textbook first half for Mountain Ridge. The way that they've played it really on both ends.
So I watched Mountain Ridge play another team throughout the season, and they've had the least amount of calls I've ever seen in a lacrosse game. They are so clean. They're so classy. They're so nice to each other on the field. Like, anything happens, they're like, that was a great goal. They are such great sportsmanship, and I love the way that, Angie holds this team to the accountability that they do with that sportsmanship.
Yeah, Coach Brush has done a great job at Mountain Ridge. Talk about early on, they went to Park City, lost that game, but felt like, they could have competed with them. Of course, we saw them early on against PG, and again, they didn't have Emory in that one. But
yeah, Emory was out with that knee injury. Now she's back live and better than ever. She is hanging on that hash. It looks like she may be rushing in. Yep.
They get it to Clark. Clark ducking around. Ooh, and that just missed, but that's a great look.
That was a beautiful look. Something that the Sentinels have really done well with throughout their whole season is being very deceptive on if they're going to give that feed. I just happened to see Emory in that moment, knowing that she was open, seeing her as a player. I knew she was going to get that cut in, but they're very deceptive to the defense on doing things like that.
Here is Clark trying to work through a triple team, and Emory scores it. Oh, my goodness. I don't even know how she got that shot off.
Yeah, no, she was able to get that cradle tight through, get her arms up and above and her stick up and through that defense. Defense had a low stance, and that's something that happens a lot in college, is that defense is low. And if that defense is low, you shoot high and up over them. So that's when you're training as a defender. If you squat too low and you give that lean forward, and you give that seeing ability to the attacker, they're going to take those shots like Emory does. Emory has phenomenal coaches that have taught her through the years. She's done tons of camps and clinics that have taught her for those moments right there. So great eye for that.
If you're Farmington, what do you got to change right now? Because it feels like they have not found their game yet.
This is a personal opinion. I think that they need to be a little tougher on defense. Not like they're not tracking the ball, but like just physicality, like in the kindest way possible. Get physical. Like, get there, get present, get known. Like, hey, when you come against me on a one-on-one, just know I'm strong kind of mentality. Nice tack by Sant.
One yard loose. Nice work by Sant. Farmington will have it. Some room here. It's trying to split it. And the call there.
Yeah, no, that is a charge when that defense has that solidified time and space to give that attacker. If they charge through those sticks or through those bodies at all, like she just did, they're going to be a charge.
Here comes Weller. Not been a scenario that Farmington has found themselves in often this year.
Yeah, no, they've had some strong teams they've played against. They had one of the closest differentials other than Olympus against Park City. Park City being one of the top teams of the state, arguably. And, they definitely have had some challenges, but this is testing their strengths for sure.
Yeah, Tessa was able to regather that. They've been able to kind of find that soft spot right in the middle of that zone a couple times today.
Mm-hmm. We're playing that zone back, and that's Mountain Ridge's queens on, I'd have to say. So to break that, they know how to do it.
Nice takeaway there for Farmington. Here comes Kearns. Georgia will start it. Couple Sentinels there. Taken away by Chalk. Well, it's just one of those wherever it feels like Farmington's got that opportunity, Mountain Ridge just squashes it.
They're fast. They're witty. They're going to take every opportunity to play the game as strong as they can.
Here's Carter working to clear.
Kate.
Yeah.
She got a helmet on. Okay. No, Kate's awesome.
It actually wouldn't shock me to see that more common, like going forward, because we do see a lot of head contact. And
especially as a defender, we call it, maybe it's mean, it's called helmet head. I was a helmet head. You know, one of my friends that's the head coach at Bingham, she was too here at Westminster.
Here's Carter working her way in front.
God, that left-handed player, that primarily defender, is about to get an 8-meter shot. She is a lefty. That's a little bit different for defenders to get themselves prepared on.
How about the through the leg, huh?
I love Masita. This is awesome.
Kate will start straight away from 8, coming in. Mountain Ridge seals it off.
Great protection. She did not get one check. Defense didn't even try and go for it. They saw that ball was protected by Kate.
And you know the other thing, I mean, again, even a moment there, you've got a free start at 8, and the ball ends up being 14 yards out, right?
Yeah.
Like Mountain Ridge is just pushing everything out. I'm trying to work it to Larson. Ground ball. And Mountain Ridge had it.
That was a sea of red. But Carter's got it.
Yeah, Carter back with it. Looking right in front. Has her team, and it's stopped by Marriott. Faith making a critical save here early for Mountain Ridge. Here come the Sentinels. Farmington trying to get back. Mountain Ridge with some numbers. They work in front. Shaw. Well, I love the aggression of Erickson. They're taking the pass away.
That was super smart. I love that she popped out as that 8th defender to cover that center girl. You know, that's a strong defending goalie there.
Good push there by Kearns for Farmington. Mountain Ridge still on it here as they'll set it up. Approaching 4 to play in this first half.
Beautiful.
Working to Clark. Emery trying to turn back. And taken away. Bale's able to collapse down.
That was a great check. Emery went to do that turn to get her arm up and for to shoot, but she didn't see that defender on that backside. We got that check. Beautiful play by defense. Way to watch that ball.
Boy, good rush back there by Shaw, not giving up. And Bales now will show some patience. Working up with Roche.
Looks like Annalise is a backer there.
Has Riley taken a shot today?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't recall. I just realized that.
They probably noticed that. Like, we filmed their last game. I know that Angie was out there with her team watching the film, seeing that Riley got so many goals in that last game against Copper Hill. So just making that sure she is, locked down.
Mackey playing up ahead here with Weller. 3 minutes to go here in this first half.
Smart pass.
Here's Claren. Had a little bit of space working in front. Erickson takes away the look from Mortensen.
That was like a perfect look for, a shooter. Instead of shooting high, she turned a shot low. Erickson just had that step on her.
Right in front. Shaw lost it. And so it'll be Mountain Ridge here from 8. This will be Aubrey Shaw straight away. Erickson's made some nice saves today. They're going to call on her here. Again, the bounce shot is scored. It's 5-1 Mountain Ridge.
Great for Shaw. Shaw's, has a couple of shining moments here in this game, but that is, one of the highlights. The player super tall was able to get that center lane, squeeze through, and just release it for a shot.
Coach McCauley going to call a timeout. A couple minutes left here in this first half. Mountain Ridge playing with confidence, looking like the defending state champs here in this. Welcome back. Boy, what a first half for Mountain Ridge, and holding Farmington just the 1 goal. That was scored by Haley Larson, her 50th of the season. So they just have not had a lot of looks, Farmington, offensively.
The Sentinels are strong, and they knew that coming in here, and I definitely think that timeout was well needed for this team to kind of regroup for these last few moments. I think that this is the first time that, Annalise and Larson have been able to find someone of their same height to be able to get those self-draws controlled.
Well, she had a self-draw to start, and I don't think she's had one since.
Yeah, okay.
So we're inside of 2 to play here in the half. Here's Clark. And time of possession today has to be 20 minutes for Mountain Ridge. It feels that way.
Yeah, no, it's been hefty.
Looking in front, the shot and the goal. It's 6-1 as it's Kaylee Guyman scoring.
That was beautiful cut. The thing that we're noticing a lot here that you also see a lot with, like, per se, Olympus. Sentinels are able to take that body contact, catch the ball, turn and shoot, just like they did there. And that was great. That is such a great thing to be able to have a part of your team, is just that connectiveness and the ability to trust like they do. That was a great goal, and that was a great look for both girls.
Well, the other thing for me is, again, Mountain Ridge is passing it inside, where it feels like Farmington's trying to dodge inside, and it just gets taken away.
With backer, you got to get that ball moving. You have to get cutters in. A lot of those plays have to be on assists. They can't be necessarily always drives.
High in the air. Larson going for that self-draw and ran into her own teammate. It's Mountain Ridge coming away with it again. Good work defensively. A push there will give it to Farmington. Nice outlet there. Here comes Thal. Well, you see that length of Anderson there. Makes that pass difficult. Farmington's still on it.
I bet that's one of the reasons she's a backer. She's fast, she's tall, she's great at tracking the ball from doing the draw so often. So having her as a backer was a smart decision.
We're a little cutter there, couldn't get it. Sant still on it, coming around and taken away by Marriott. Well, and after every save, Faith is jumping around. You can tell her confidence grows with every save she makes.
And it should, you know. That's something I tell goalies every time I'm training them is like, you know, there might be times that they may, quote unquote, shoot it in your stick, but there's players across this whole field that the ball's getting past their stick, they're not catching it. To have the ability to catch it, celebrate it. You got that.
Final seconds, maybe a late opportunity. Weller coming around. Weller looking for the shot, and Erickson able to fend it off. Down to 5 seconds left into the corner, and that will do it. First half comes to a close. 6-1, the defending state champs leading the top-seeded Farmington Phoenix. You're watching the 6A semifinal only on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. Getting ready to start this second half. Dane Stewart, Kenzie Christiansen with you. 6-1, Mountain Ridge. Boy, what a half for the Sentinels. Kenzie, if you're Farmington, what have you got to change in this second half to get back in this?
I think just really analyze that first half. What's happening, what's working, what's not working. You know, what kind of changes do we need to make as a team to be able to step up to the Sentinels? And for the Sentinels, just the opposite side. Like, what is working? What do we need to keep emphasizing on? What's stuff that we could try that's new that could possibly continue working for our team?
Off the draw. This gathered by Jackson. What would you think is working for Farmington? Like, what would you try to lean into more?
I think that was going to be one of my first things, having Larson do a different type of draw instead of self-draws, get a different angle.
That pass, boy, I like the intention there, but just good stick work by Mackey, able to come away with it. Give it away. Here's Kate Carter with some space. Oh, Anderson making it tough. Carter working through, and there's going to be the call. Good aggression by Farmington here early.
Yeah, no, it was super great. It may have just been my angle, but it looked like she literally ducked underneath the two sticks like she was crawling through a hole. But good for her. She's got that ability. Do it.
Here's Carter from 8 to start. Coming in. That ball fell out. Not the first time we've seen that just get lost.
Just from what I was seeing is they're creating more horizontally and not vertically. Vertically, just like as you can see with this player here, it's keeping her stick up a little more protected, gives a little bit of a stronger cradle. If you're more horizontal, it's more likely to be like, as they say, a pancake in a pan.
Nice stick check there by Sant. And it will come back to Farmington. They've been much more aggressive with their sticks here as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Riley on the start, and now we're going to get stoppage here. We have a card coming?
Yep,
yeah,
a green.
Delay.
Yep, delay of game. Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Delay of game. And so she's just warning everybody, you need to move 4 away is what I think this. Yep, exactly. You need to move 4 away, allow that player to self-start. I don't know exactly what else she's saying, but that's approximately what she's saying.
Well, there are some Farmington parents who have been, recognizing that today. We've heard it. Don't know if it's come through on the stream, but I think they're probably going to be happy to see that warning being given.
Exactly, yes.
And they're going to bring Sant back here for this potentially. Yep.
Yep, and with that being an offsides foul, it will be a whistle start. Only a few times in that open field there's a whistle start, and this is one of those moments.
So Sant here will get it engaged.
But there's 5 back there. Okay, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think when those 2 defenders on Mountain Ridge were defending Sant, they crossed over.
Sant coming through, and that one lost, but the call here will give Riley the 8-meter start.
Yeah, this is going to give her first or second attempt at making a goal, so this will be fun to see her take it with her right hand on that first inside.
Here's Riley. Coming in, Sant didn't get a shot away.
Yep, a crease violation. Yep, that will be having to go behind the goalie and self-start with her.
Riley continuing to be stymied here in this semifinal. Messina looking ahead here with Faber. Riley's playing like a senior in a semifinal right now in the second half.
Yeah, she's turned it up.
Boy, hard contact there.
Yeah, I've seen Riley mostly as a defender through a different season, and so to see her playing this tough defense here in the midfield, I'm loving it. I just love seeing that positive aggression and keep that game going for her.
Here's Mortensen looking over with Weller. Weller, boy, what a lob. Nice. Right in front. But how about that Farmington D recovering?
That was honestly fast-paced, beautiful, seamless. That cut was exactly textbook, and that control with that stick all the way throughout those checks. Beautiful done.
So this will be a start for Mortensen coming in. That stick came up high there. We're going to get a card here. First yellow of the game.
Check to the head. Yep, that will be a check to the head as she was going through there. Defense was trying to get that check off and unfortunately did get her in the head. Something that we saw just at her first setup is she dropped her stick with the ball in it. Players do that and drop the ball to give them a second to prepare, because if they have the stick in their hand, they look somewhat ready. The officials will start the game without them being completely ready. So you'll see them stop, drop the ball on the ground or drop their stick for a second to get their body prepared.
Another start here for Mortensen. The 2-minute here for Bales on the card. Mortensen coming in, right in front, working around and scoring. Boy, how about the control there from Mortensen?
Yeah, no, that was great. Being able to see that the defense had stopped. She tried almost backpedaling her way out and having that stick control and moving that goalie a little bit right there. Something that defense, I think, even myself as a defender, once you get yourself to that crease, you're like, oh, where else can I go? Well, keep traveling with that attacker as she backs out, because she got that lane that she well deserved.
We had Mountain Ridge students here waiting outside the gate this morning with coolers and everything, and they're cheering on, making their presence known for these Sentinels. Great crowds here for this 9 a.m. semi.
Yeah, no, great crowds, great energy, great sportsmanship overall. It's been good.
Ready for another draw here, Larson and Anderson. Both these two players over 500 on draws over the course of the season. Thought this would be a great battle. It has been.
Nice,
and
Carter.
This draw to Kate Carter and the Phoenix.
I believe that was a push. She had flat palms out.
Carter start here from the 12.
Smart. Keep possession. That's exactly what Mountain Ridge on the flip side of the first half. That possession is key.
There's plenty of time left, but you really want to start negating some of the turnovers that you've had, right?
Offsides? Oh, yep, it is offsides with that card out. That defender, you had to have a player back staying in that defended spot.
Talk about eliminating the turnovers. It's not what we meant. Continues to plague Farmington. They just haven't been able to get the kind of looks they've had all year. Here's Anderson. There's a Farmington team that on the course of 18 games has scored 260 goals.
No, that's amazing. There's a lot of high-scoring teams like that, and it's awesome to see, such a young team, only a few years into their career in general, see such a strong, high number.
4 players with over 30 goals. Over 32, actually. Mountain Ridge back on the possession. Clark. Oh, nice coming around. Saved away there by Erickson.
Yeah, that's great ball control. Great tracking for Erickson.
Well, you could see Emery set that up, did such a nice job, and Erickson was ready for it. And despite, giving up 7, Elle has had a really good game today. She's kept Farmington in this.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of saves, I think maybe about equal.
Boy, not a lot of movement here to get it clear.
No, and if you're seeing a little bit of space, they're getting baited, kind of just like right there. They're giving them space on the defending end. The attackers are going to swoop in and intercept that ball or ground ball, either way. Just get the ball. It's called baiting.
A call there. We'll leave it here with Farmington. Probably fortunate there. Larson has the 1 goal today for Farmington. She's got it here. Haley working through right in front. And the goal. Haley with her 2nd goal of the game.
I think it took all of us just a moment to realize that was a goal. She snaked through all those defenders. Right off that whistle, everybody kind of hesitated for a second. She did not. Snake through and released it to the back of the net with a great goal for the 2nd of the game and 2nd for the team.
She started it across midfield, worked her way through that whole defense. 51st goal of the year for the sophomore Haley Larson. What is it about Region 1 that just finds great goal scorers every year? It was Brooklyn Suttlemeyer the last couple years.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's, Brooklyn Suttlemeyer was amazing. I'm Syracuse. There's, strong players throughout the whole program. There's a couple of players, even from Davis. There was Macy Wood that was super strong with their goal scorer. Several others.
You probably know this. I discovered this in my prep. So we've got 6A, 4A, then 5A semis. That's our schedule today.
Yep.
In the 4A semi, we've got a player who has tied Brooklyn Suttlemeyer for 2nd most goals in a season.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And that just shows the strength of, just repetition and practice.
Here's a self-draw, and it's given away. No, Haley able to get back on it. Nice recovery there for Larson.
Yeah, no, Larson's height has definitely been matched like she hasn't been matched before. And I think that goes both ways for Mountain Ridge.
Yep. Franich works to Carter. Sand back behind the goal. Carter here initiating. Handed off defensively. Up with Haley. Haley trying to get that edge, working in front. Haley, and scores again. Haley with back-to-back goals, and both of them shooting over this D.
No, beautiful goal. Way to have great stick work overall. And, 3 for 3 for her. Great for her.
We talk about youngsters, sophomores, juniors that step up in moments. How about Haley Larson, her team down 7-1, back-to-back goals, helped claw back in this for the Phoenix.
Yeah, you really do work as a team, but there's been a few spur moments that she's been a very strong individual player.
We'll head back to the draw. Larson and Anderson. Out of the air, and it's going to be captured here by Weller as Mountain Ridge able to chip it ahead. Up with Mortensen. Tessa plays with Claren. Mention our other semifinal. Coming up at 11 a.m., Lone Peak, the second-seeded Knights taking on the sixth-seeded Bingham Miners. How about all three region champs making the semifinal here in 6A?
Yeah, no, it's great to see that repetition's pulling through, that, one team isn't just having a good year. It's continuing forward. The progression is continuing forward for all the programs.
Here's Weller. Nice double team there, trying to get a little edge around Bales. They'll work it around instead. Martinson. Boy, move to that left hand and recognizing, set something else up here.
I couldn't see from my angle if that, I'm assuming that was shooting space, but not 1,000% sure from the angle that we have. But, yeah, she's going to get that first inside, setting up for that goal. Got to make sure those, Emery over there is pretty open on that hanging catch across field.
Here's Claren. The left-handed shot rings off the pipe. And Mortensen able to come, scoop up the ground ball. Boy, you're that close to getting a stop. And Mountain Ridge able to get back on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that pipe is that goalie's best friend.
Oh, Clark with room. Emery.
Good for her.
And they're going to take that goal that is not scored, as we had a whistle there before, and we actually have stoppage. Elle actually shed the gloves, and I don't know if
it may have hit off her hand.
Got stung, yeah. That looks to be the case.
But I just want to bring attention to that tuck dodge Emery just did. That was perfect
nice.
Angle from me. Beautifully done. Great stick work. Loved it. I thought she had a great drive.
Although Emery Clark, how she gets that much space.
Mm-hmm.
That lane was wide open. She'll get a start here from 8. This will be Emery. Has 2 goals today. Looking for the Hattie.
Elle's hurting a little bit down there.
Yeah, she is. Emery. The shot and the goal. Her third of the game. And it's 8-3.
Yeah, Elle's not doing okay.
Boyne Erickson still just walking back and trying to walk that off.
Yeah. It's got to be her hand, I think. Well, I hope overall she's okay. Doesn't look like I have a second goalie suited up. If it were ever the case, I believe so to be true, that a goalie can step into her place and get a 1-minute timeout for a quick warm-up.
We'll head back here to the draw.
Let's go, Molly Bell. Play your game. Be in there. Be aggressive. You got this.
Out of the air, captured by Jackson. Here comes Michaela. Oh, the stick check from behind by Anderson. Forced it loose. Farmington trying to push here defensively. Nearly had it. And the call there will give it to the Phoenix. Alex Stevens here to start it. And we got a delay.
Green. Is it a green-yellow? Is it a yellow?
I think it's green-yellow.
Green-yellow, that means a player from the team does have to sit out for 2 minutes. It is a team foul and not a player foul.
Would this be continuation of that earlier delay call?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly what it is. It goes green, green, yellow, then yellow. Yeah, she does have Molly Belter adjacent, and then she does have a player, I can't really see that number, just behind her. It was a whistle start. Yep.
Wow.
You know, we can't hear those officials down there, but they most likely were saying a few times, hey, this will be a whistle start. Both teams have played all season knowing that a yellow card is a whistle start always.
That's one of the tough things, though. I mean, I feel like you get so accustomed to just the continuation, the self-start, that when you have some of those moments that are delayed and to remember this is not a self-start, like that's hard.
There's only a few, like the offside and, you know, the foul, yellow cards.
Here's Mortensen as Mountain Ridge pulling everything out here. 5-goal difference inside of 15 to play. Here's Chalk. Looking back with Emery. We've got Lone Peak and Bingham walking in the building. Again, that our next 6A semifinal. Coming up at 11 o'clock. The winner of this will take on the winner of that in the state championship Thursday.
Yeah, so, yeah, you saw, you know, across the body for that call. She did, it looked like Ferraringo, a butt check. Kate Carter did. But if it takes the stick anywhere into the sphere, the player could be in the sphere across the body. Just really depends on that angle.
Clark there receiving that pass after setting the screen. Being defended here by Molly Bell.
All right, yep, false start.
There, yeah.
Something to bring attention to, I do apologize. If it is a butt check, it also can be just a legal stick check, too, is that same signal.
Here's Clark. That pass a little tall, able to climb the ladder there was Hanks. A lot of space here for Shaw. Aubrey, one of the seniors, has scored today. Clark. Time here for Weller. Boy, defensively, how do you try to get a turnover here where Mountain Ridge just so accustomed, so good with possession today?
So they have been riding out and doing that on-ball pressure, but the thing with the word is exactly that, pressure. You got to touch them, put pressure on their physical body. They can keep backing out and give themselves space.
Worked in front from Mortensen. Oh, and how about the ground ball shot from Mortensen? Looked like that maybe caught Erickson by surprise.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. She faked high all through that defensive sticks, took a little bit of a hesitant step back, and shot it low. Great play. I love moments like that. We saw something similar when it was Riverton and at Bingham. You know, that player faked high, shot low. Beautiful movement. Overall, just a great game.
9-3. Farmington had scored back-to-back goals, made it 7-3. Felt like, oh, here comes Farmington. How about the response from Mountain Ridge?
I think the response overall has just been to play our game. I think that's kind of the mentality that Mountain Ridge has. It's like, don't think about the other team. Acknowledge them, of course, play to the game, but play our game. See how we are as a team and individual, what our strengths are, work to each other's strengths, and just play their game.
Out of the air, caught by Tessa.
That's a routine draw right there for the two of them.
Movement, Clark, the find right in front, couldn't connect, but backed up. Well, I shouldn't say backed up. Shaw hands to Mortensen, and a big save by Erickson. Tessa's brought the heat today.
Yeah, she has. I mean, she's a senior as well. She was just like Sand. She got to turn up that energy.
And that pass just over the stick there of Enright, and Mountain Ridge getting it right back. Here's Clark.
Yep, so we got a shooting space call. I think she's going to that second inside. And putting that defender just behind. We do have Emery open over on that, or not Emery.
Yeah, Emery's going to start this.
Emery did have Mortensen over her side. That's what I was trying to say. I apologize. Mortensen was over on her side, just like Emery has been to other players on her team for that outlook pass.
And she's got Claren to her right. Emery will start it here again. Wind up shot. Erickson with the save, and Larson controlling the rebound. Now working up through the middle, but that ball a little long, and Anderson had it. And it is indeed taken here by Enright for Farmington. Oh, had it, and then lost it. Clark with it now for Mountain Ridge. And that domination of possession time for the Sentinels continues. You talk about maturity. I mean, how about Weller had a couple opportunities to try to drive that further, and instead we'll pass it back out and work around here with the Sentinels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they've had a very controlled game. I think, physically they're connected, and I think, they all have the same goal in mind. Wait for the best opportunity.
Well, and how much does it help that we talk about defending state champs, been there, done that, know what it takes.
Yeah.
The presence of mind that, hey, big moments, able to rely on that experience to help kind of carry you through.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of maybe say that Farmington's the rookies of the game in the specific situation. So having that ability to know what that feels like is awesome for Sentinels.
Nice steal there by Bales, taking it away for Farmington. Here's Larson, the only goal scorer for Farmington. Who would have thought we'd say those words today?
Yeah. Wasn't I.
Here's Kate Carter. Met there at 8. Kate working through, but the call here, she'll get the start from 8 meters.
And it is going to be a card. Check to the head. Should we be putting Carter on that first inside? With a card, you do not have to put a defender behind because the defendant's in the box. This is going to be a little more challenging for Carter. Most players that are right-handed would love, that situation right there, but she is a lefty. She's going to have to, be creative here to see what she wants to do to get that out of her left hand into that back of the net.
Carter from 8 meters running in. The shot. Scored it. Was she in the circle? Yeah, that counts.
So there was a push. So that is what you see that flag. You see that back ref. Carter got the goal. Beautifully done, but she got pushed into the crease. I believe, we'll know here in a second, I believe that the ball will be awarded to Farmington because of the push on the goal.
Well, that would certainly help Farmington's cause if they were able to get the possession, not have to go through a face or a draw, which has been a challenge today.
Exactly.
That does look to be the case. Is Larson here ready to just, nope, never mind. Here comes Anderson. Yeah, you're right.
Yep, Ingright's getting her way ahead, exactly what you want to do. You want to see those defense sometimes pop up for those back adjacents. She's got to run. She's got a girl coming on her.
Our clock just a little ahead. We're just waiting as the game clock catches up. Larson lost it, trying to get back on it. Has it here. As back in sync with the game clock here, Dumke Field. Here's Haley. Giving inside, and that was just wide. Backed up here. Nice rush there by Carter. Good look for Roche.
Yeah, that was a great look. Might as well take it, right? Take every shot.
And we've got a substitution here.
I'm not sure. She has her goggles off. Hopefully she's all right.
Yeah, Favorite was running off there.
What was that?
We'll get a substitution. Trying to get that number for Mountain Ridge. Looks to be 19. Kylie Taylor coming on. 9 minutes to go here. Carter trying to keep that. Anderson able to sweep that wide, but it's maintained by Farmington. Here's Stevens with it. Hands to Larson. Haley looking right in front. That pass just a step in front of Franich. Kept here by Sant. Riley with a shot and a goal! Riley Sant, the senior, comes up big for Farmington.
No goal, no goal, no goal.
Oh.
She's getting carded. Follow through. That's a dangerous follow through.
Wow. Boy, would have been such a big moment for Farmington. Instead, no goal. And yeah, Sant here having to come off due to the card. And boy, just like that, all that rhythm, momentum, no longer is a card now being given here to Roche.
Slash. Yep, a slash. We got 2 girls out. Going to be for those 2 minutes. We got to make sure we have 4 players back in cards.
Both Sant and Roche off here. 8.5 to go.
Both teams' players down.
Yeah, 2 down for Farmington, 1 for Mountain Ridge.
That means that once we get down to that defending end, 2 Farmington defenders will have 2 girls. So they're going to be 2-man. Oh, just kidding, because they were man down on Farmington, Mountain Ridge too. So there will be 1 man up.
Yep.
I can count.
And I don't remember the time difference. There is going to be some time for 2-man down, but here's Clark working back to Mortensen, and that got deflected. Pinged up high. Oh, and how about walking the tightrope by Shaw? But we do have another stoppage here. Did they say that went out, maybe?
I think so. I'm sorry. I can't see from my angle.
It will be Farmington possession regardless. This will be Stevens to start it. Carly continuing on with it here. Carly showing some speed. Stevens trying to get around the defensive Mackey. Worked over.
Looks like little Ingray has it.
Good D there by Taylor, the whistle here. We'll give the start to Alex Stevens. Alex looking in front and right. Moving to Carter. And a whistle there.
So we got that second inside left-hander as we spoke before. That's going to be a good angle for her.
Yeah, this will be Carter from the opposite side. You were just talking about that a couple minutes ago. Kate coming in. Good pass. Shot and a goal. Kate Carter with the Phoenix goal. It's 9-5.
And it looks like it might be the same situation as before. It was a shot with a goal and a push, just right after, just on that goal. So the ball, I believe it should, was in just a second, that it should be going to Larson. And that's Kate's second, and I believe Larson has 3. Those are both 2025 players. They're sophomores. They're young. It's like, good for them. That's just going to show where this team's going to be in the next few years.
Yeah, 12th goal of the year for Kate Carter. We talked about needing additional scoring. Kate has stood up and served that purpose here in this second half. They need more of that here in these remaining 7 minutes.
Yeah, Coach Chris has definitely taken that time to analyze his players, look to know his players strengths, and that's exactly what they needed down on the left side is put Kate from defense to attack.
Sant and Roche still off here as well for Farmington. I think it's about another 40 seconds. I think it was about 8:35 when that was called, I think.
About approximately.
Larson works over to Kate. That pass a step in front. Kate will not be able to get there. And Farmington gives it up.
Yeah, we got to solve those adjacents. There's a lot of red out there.
And really, I mean, the last 90-plus seconds, there has been a lot of red. As Sant comes back on and Roche ready to be released, Farmington will kill off those two yellows.
Exactly, yeah. They're definitely going to slowly get remarked up, and they just did. They're back to even playing.
Yep. And now they got to get the ball back. Here's Mortensen over with Claren, seemingly content to air out some of the remaining 6+ minutes. Chalk working to Clark. Room for her, Emery. A little run through by Shaw. Couldn't connect. That ground ball still being scooped around. Boy, stick came right up. You saw Kearns go to the turf. She's still down.
She got hit
and
in
now,
the face.
Now we'll get whistles. Take a look at Kate. Wear goggles, but no other face protection. That looked like it came right up in the mouth-nose area. She went down immediately.
I love
she's
Erickson.
up and okay.
She was so sweet and ran immediately out to her teammate to make sure she was okay. That just shows that, great person, great sportsmanship, and I'm super happy that player is okay from that contact.
Started here by Carly Stevens. Mountain Ridge continuing with that relentless pressure. The call there will allow for the start here by Thole. Farmington trying to work it up through the middle. Boy, it was hard to hear that whistle.
Yep. I think it's going to be a yellow, or is it a green-yellow?
No, they called
it.
Does
a straight
they gave
yellow?
A yellow, yeah. And in fairness, I could barely hear that whistle. We're right next to the crowd. It's right near us.
Yeah.
But
it is a false start. I think everybody was a little confused. The other official on the other side of the field gave the yellow. So this official here, obviously we don't know what's going on, but she saw that Farmington player self-started.
And so due to the procedure, it will go back to Mountain Ridge. And now the official's going to come together and talk. And I actually like this because you don't want to penalize a team if one official didn't recognize the other call, right?
Exactly.
And so officials get together, make sure we're all on the same page and work this out. It's the right path. Regardless, one team's going to be upset. And we've got a timeout being taken. So timeout being called. We'll step aside. Be back. You're watching the 6A semifinal on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. 5:35 to go here in regulation. 6A semifinal. Mountain Ridge has led for the duration. And they will have the ball. Again, the controversial call is there, but it will be Mountain Ridge possess. I don't want to say controversial.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of environment and confusion, and actually the official here, is clarifying, so it will be Mountain Ridge here to start it. Started here by the Sentinels. Shaw running this down into the corner. Worked out with Clark. Might I add, beautiful setting here at Westminster. I love the buildings right up against the field. You got the mountains in the background. Come on out. Beautiful days today and tomorrow. Girls today, boys tomorrow. 6A, 5A, and 4A semis. Emery Clark had some momentum there. I'll pull this back out. She'll have the start.
Yep, shooting space for that first inside.
Clark Coming in, wind-up shot, that sailed. And, boy, how about being in the right place at the right time? Taya Chalk able to keep that in and possess.
Yep, 3 seconds. That's that back official. There's a flag. It's a major foul. The person that got the 3 seconds is going to be pulled behind ball.
That'll be Carter.
Yep, it looks like she's on the dot, so yep, you see it's a whistle start.
And Chalk working this out. Approaching 4 to go. Farmington 17-1 on the ropes here against the Sentinels. Boy, how about the patience working and scoring. Beautiful placement on the shot and goal for Kiara Clayton.
Yeah, she's like a little ping pong ball. She was taking that pressure from the defense, popping off, and then finally finding her way to the back of that net.
Kiki Claren, what a shot. And I love you're working away from the stick there, making a tough save on Erickson, who's been great today. But that's just beautiful shot placement. Out of the air. Well, I thought Larson had that. Just missed it.
Yeah, Annalise has got a couple steps on her.
Annalise, I think she's so underrated from the spot on the draw, isn't she?
Yeah, no, she's done strong. She's had a good time. Ball's going the other way for...
offside, maybe?
No.
Annalise was running back to get...
I don't know.
It'll be Farmington possession.
If it's a whistle, it's probably offside. Offsides. Yep, that's my guess.
That one given up. Annalise able to gather it for Mountain Ridge. Three to go. Clark. Here's Weller. Sending out. Back to Weller. Right in the middle of the shot and the goal. And the lead pushed back to 6 here for the Sentinels.
Yeah, on that shot, you do see a player down. She got her hand hit.
First goal of the game for Amelia Weller, the senior. Maybe putting the exclamation mark on here.
No, she did an amazing job. She was able to find that lane, capture that ball, drop her stick onto that hip side, and sail that ball through.
The 5-seeded Mountain Ridge Sentinels, Region 3 champs, 6-0 in region. Winners of 8 straight. Looking to hand Farmington only their second loss of the season here in the semifinal.
This will certainly be a game that I think both teams are going to learn from and, take it into their future games.
When we talk about the youth, we've seen players step up, including those two. Larson, Carter, the only goal scorers for Farmington. Kate with a path here, still working through, and Kate just had that lost by the pressure there of Mountain Ridge, right as she was right at the top of the 8. And now here come the Sentinels on the counter. Mortensen working with Weller. The lob to Clark. Kate working through, finding space, and that wide, and Farmington closest to will have it. Talk about Farmington, 17-1 on the season. Undefeated in Region 1. Your Region 1 champs. all the offense, but just haven't been able to get it as this one turned over by Mountain Ridge. Worked over to Clark. Emery through, shot, and a goal. Another one for Mountain Ridge. And how about the quickness on the handles for Emery Clark?
That was beautiful. Receiving that pass, making those dodge, switching those sticks, dodging those sticks, and just great shot.
I know for Farmington going to be disappointed.
It might be disappointing, it'll be heartbreaking, but definitely it will be a time to reflect back on in the future and to see where they can strengthen it for the upcoming next season.
Well, that's the thing. There's so much youngsters coming back.
Yeah.
Erickson's a sophomore. She's been great today between the pipes. Larson, Clark. Most of the roster. And so while it's going to end in bitterness today, use this to grow, get better, and expect to see Farmington back here at Dumke Field in coming seasons.
Yeah, this Mountain Ridge has had such great control and composure, and I think overall a decent amount of sportsmanship and just skill.
Clark hits it off the crossbar. Larson trying to gather here for Farmington. Well, how about the box out there by Haley?
Timeout? Looks like it.
Looks to be the case. We'll step aside. Final minute when we come back in the 6A semifinal. Welcome back. Dane Stewart, Kenzie Christiansen with you. Final minute. Mountain Ridge has not trailed today. In fact, the closest has been, after they built their lead, has been 4. It's been that twice.
Yes.
And both times Mountain Ridge come right back up and push the lead back.
There's been a couple of those silly mistakes there of just the ball dropping out of the back of the sticks for Farmington. But just like right there, they're able to capture it back and make their way downfield.
Here comes Haley Larson. Has led the way for Farmington today. 3 goals for her. Looking in front for Michaela. That pass got deflected, though. Finds its way through to Jackson. Double team there. We'll hand it off to Ruby Roche. How impressive Mountain Ridge been today. Defensively, Farmington has not really been able to create many looks.
Exactly.
Out of their offense. Larson here. Sneaking through and scoring. Haley Larson, her 4th goal of the game.
Yeah, like you said, she snuck that through. Snaked that through. That snuck that ball into the back of the net. She's able to stand tall, get her stick up and high, and, sell it just right above goalie.
We did have a change in goal for Mountain Ridge. Tristy Souza, the other senior, has come on here for the Sentinels, getting her some action here in this semifinal.
We're a little bit about under 30 seconds, and to end strong like that would be a great for the Phoenixes.
And this will be J.C. Ostler at the spot on the draw here for Mountain Ridge, still going up against Larson. In the air, Jackson off the bounce. Here comes Michaela, one of the seniors. Would love for a moment for Michaela. Right in front, the shot and the goal for Michaela Jackson. Back-to-back goals for Farmington. And we had a flag here behind the play as well.
Michaela Jackson for Farmington.
Yeah, first of the game, she was a strong player in the last game we were at. And, it's good for her to end on a good note with that goal. We got 17 seconds to go. A decent point differential, but any points are great points.
I thought Michaela Jackson, what we saw from her against Copper Hills, she could be a big X factor here today. And look, there were a lot of Farmington players that would love to have this game back, right?
Certainly.
But, you got to give credit to Mountain Ridge, what they did defensively. The pressure they put on early with their offense and scoring just made it tough for Farmington to get back in this. Off this draw, controlled by Mountain Ridge. Impressive performance from the defending state champs. They've got back-to-back on their minds as Mountain Ridge upsets the top-seeded Farmington Phoenix. 12-7, your final score. Kenzie, your final thoughts and the selection of our player of the game.
That was a phenomenal game. I love the sportsmanship out on the field. Everybody looked very kind and awesome. There's great sit work for Mountain Ridge, great connections. overall, just a well-played game for Mountain Ridge. Farmington had great moments, beautiful goals. Larson, I believe, had 4. Clark had 2, and then Jackson had 1. I think that makes us even there. But overall, just a beautiful game by both teams, something to both learn from. Play of the game, I think, for me, the shining star is Mortensen. Tessa played an amazing game off circle. She was able to step in front, box out, get those high snatching clears. Beautiful goals, and just overall just played a really well-played game for her senior game.
Well, great year for Farmington. We talk about finished 17-2. You're Region 1 champs. You talk about not a lot of seniors, but big-time seniors. Talk about Riley Sant, Michaela Jackson, Carly Stevens, London Thal, Alex Stevens, Franich. There's others, but they made their mark on this program. Still a young program, growing, getting to a semifinal, but it ends short today as Mountain Ridge advances to a state championship game for the second straight year. And congratulations to Tessa Mortensen. 3 goals for her. Brought the heat today to help lead Mountain Ridge past Farmington. 12-7, the Sentinels advance to the state championship. For Tino Psyche, Kenzie Christiansen, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. We've got our other 6A semifinal coming up at 11 a.m. right here on KSLSports.com.